Hello, Soul Family. Welcome back to Undefined Life. We are currently being emptied out. We are currently being purified as channels for Source. And I want to just mirror back this reminder today because the ego and the mind will often interpret what it is that we're experiencing at the 3D physical level as things going wrong, right? So when we experience being triggered, when we experience the dissolution of relationships, jobs, certain circumstances, when things don't go to plan or we experience discomfort, the mind and the ego wants to label that as some degree of dissonance or something going wrong. And I would like to offer the reframe that in fact, at this time when we are being purified as a humanity, every single being on the planet is going through this awakening process. Some are a little bit, further down the road than others. No one escapes this evolutionary process because it's collective. It's not just humanity either, it's Gaia, and it's every being on Gaia. We are all moving through this shift, this elevation and this ascension in frequencies. And so as the mind will want to label, judge these experiences as bad, as wrong, and create resistance to them, I just want to offer the mirror that in fact, what we are experiencing, these really difficult emotions that are coming to the surface, all of these unconscious wounds, this shadow work that's emerging, these deep-seated fears, everything that's emerging within you that feels deeply uncomfortable, deeply rooted in fear or resistance, that is simply the process of being purified. Okay, so the way in which we purify the subconscious mind, the aspect of our consciousness that we cannot access by, thinking our way there, we have to have it mirrored back to us in our reality in order for us to become aware of it. And then when we become aware of it and it arises, we can deal with it. And this is an essential part of the awakening and the purification process. There's nothing going wrong. Life is not going wrong. It's simply a case that actually the course that the ego charted and going in that direction, it's going to take me this long, I'm going that exact route, may not be the course that spirit is chartering for you, that your soul has chartered for you. And so what's required of us during these very intense times of purification and of alchemy is flexibility and adaptability and a real non-attachment and surrender, and recognizing that we are being prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually for the next stage of our journey. Everything, every single experience is happening to help make us more resilient, more aware, more conscious. That's the invitation. Not everyone is going to take that invitation. Some people will continue to choose to cycle in unconsciousness and egoic tendencies and karma. That's their free will choice. But the invitation from spirit is during this purification process to recognize that everything that's coming up that feels deeply uncomfortable or deeply dissonant is actually the shit that's been obscuring our truth. And so it's a divine blessing that it's coming up to be witnessed with awareness. Because once we witness it with the light of awareness, it's able to be released, or it's able to be further integrated as part of our being, and it's no longer lurking in the shadows of our experience or our consciousness. So this is the divine gift. This is the reframe that I want to offer today, because I know I'm really going through this process at the moment. I'll share more details on that when I have a little bit more time and energy to do so. And I'm experiencing this really strongly with my clients too. This process of incredible, painful rebirth, alchemy. We're really all just in that chrysalis process, from the caterpillar to the butterfly. We're all just in that process of deep metamorphosis and transformation, and it's fucking uncomfortable sometimes, a lot of the time. And I just want to remind you that this is the process of purifying, of alchemizing, of turning that which was unconscious, that which was keeping us bound, allowing ourselves to be liberated from that, allowing ourselves to see it, to realize it as fallacy or untruth, and to release ourselves from the bondage of it so we can return to the truth of who we are. The analogy that always comes back to me at this time is thinking of our truth like the sun. The sun is always shining. It's hard to believe in England, but the sun is always shining. Sometimes the sun gets obscured by clouds, and when we're in egoic identification, it's really easy to believe that the sun is gone and that it's always going to be dismal and grey. But actually, the wider, broader, higher perspective is in fact that the sun is still shining, right? The love, the awareness, the capacity to zoom out and really kind of just hold our experience, that's always there. So that's the divine invitation, to recognize that our truth is always there. Yes, there are going to be waves, there are going to be tumultuous periods, there are going to be processes that we have to go through to move this energy that's been stuck for lifetimes, millennia, and recognizing that our truth never goes anywhere and the divine truth never leaves us. The divine never leaves us. And if we can hold on to that knowing in ourselves, it can help us to retain a sense of true north when the waves of life get pretty choppy, which they certainly are for me, and I think for a lot of us, that is a process that's intensifying. It's happening for us, guys. It's hard to hold on to that or to stay anchored in that sometimes, but that is the process. So I hope you are keeping well, sending you my love. This is just a short transmission today. And remember, this is the purification process. So can you surrender to what needs to be brought through, what needs to be allowed, what wants to be expressed? Can you make space for that? And trust in the knowing that in doing so, it will no longer dominate your experience. It just wants to be witnessed, and then it just wants to be released. That's it. So do what you need to do to make space for that in your journey, whether that's working with someone one-on-one, accessing a group course or program, moving through some, self-guided healing literature or work, whatever you need to do. Start to create a toolkit to support yourself through this purification process, because it ain't going anywhere. Sending all my love, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.